Episode of Million Dollar Memberships podcast. We are at the end of the month, which means we are buckled in today for our Q&A episode. I'll be answering questions around audience building and if you need a big audience first before starting a membership, how many members you actually need to make your membership profitable, what a real sales strategy looks like in the membership world, and how to get members predictably through one. If you should have a free community alongside your paid membership. It's a good one, so let's get into it. Welcome to the Million Dollar Memberships podcast, where we help entrepreneurs like yourself start, grow, and scale multiple 6- and 7-figure online memberships with simple step-by-step strategies that actually work.
Your life is about to get so good.
Let's dive in. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm so excited to be here, and I'm excited you are here as well. If you're new here, hi, my name is Paige. I have been building online membership communities since 2019, and this is the podcast you want to listen to if you are also building your own online membership community. We talk about strategies for very, very beginners. If you are someone who's just thinking of starting a membership and don't know where to start, all the way to those of you who are already at multiple 6 figures, scaling to 7-figure online memberships. And on the last Monday of every single month, I do a Q&A episode, which is where I basically just take your questions that you've submitted throughout the month, whether that's on my Instagram, if you post them on my questions box that I do on my stories. I have some people actually email our support email. Just gather your questions from all over the place, and I pick a few to really deep dive into on these episodes. So let's get right into it because we have a lot of ground to cover. The first question is from Chris. He says, "Hi Paige, my girlfriend is really inspired by your podcast. She would like to build a membership around spirituality, and I'm curious to know if she can build a membership without an audience, or if it's best to build an audience first before the membership. Also, does she need a transformation, a clear path, or is it possible for her to build a membership with practical spirituality tools to know yourself better? I know it may be more of a question to ask working with you, but don't worry, she'll have many more when she does." Thank you, Chris, for submitting your question, and I cannot wait to see her inside. I love a spirituality membership. You guys know that. So first things first, you don't have to have a massive audience to start a membership. Does it help? Sometimes, if you know how to actually leverage strategy to get people inside, but you don't have to. I personally grew my first membership to multiple 6 figures with under, I think, 2,000 followers on my Instagram, and that's my primary platform. So it is definitely possible. However, the one thing that's really important with not only if you have a small audience, but with any membership, is you have to have a really clear transformation. So I know that in this question you said, can it be broader? It definitely, your membership can be broad in terms of what you do inside of your membership can be broad. There can be many different aspects to your membership, many different things you talk about, and there probably will. Inside Million Dollar Memberships Club, for example, there's so many things that we cover because obviously to grow a membership from $0 to 7 figures, there's a lot of in between. So there's so many things that we cover, but the transformation, that's a very clear transformation for this membership in particular. Even if she's going to be covering a ton of different stuff inside of the membership, that transformation needs to be very, very specific of what that membership actually does for people. And when I say specific, I mean like real life examples. It cannot just be something along the lines of, I have this spirituality membership, and at the end of it, you are just going to live a very elevated and vibrant life. That, sure, someone might live a very vibrant life, but that's so unspecific, I actually don't know what that means. It's so broad that it actually means nothing to me. I would really encourage her to look at overall, what are some very tangible results that come from this membership? When someone enters the membership, what are they feeling? What are they struggling with? What are those real life examples that they're struggling with? Maybe feeling very lost on their path. They know that there's something more out there, but they just don't know what. They want to feel connected to something spiritually, and they have no idea how to start. That is very, very specific. And then you're doing the exact same thing for that result. What are they going to feel afterwards? How are they going to live afterwards, etc. Now, let's get into the audience thing. Because while you don't need a big audience to start, if nobody knows about your membership, you also can't get people inside of your membership. So there is a little bit of a fine line there. If you are starting a membership and you don't have a big audience, it's not necessarily a bad thing, because here's one perk of that is when you start a new membership, it actually can be really beneficial to start with a smaller group, because when you start your membership, you're figuring it out with your members. It's the first round of your membership. You've never actually been inside of the membership. Your members haven't been inside of the membership. You don't know what's going to work, what's not going to work. And this is something that you have to just trial and error. Even if you have strategy to start your membership, you have to actually dive into your own community and see what the reaction is, what they're loving, what the vibe is inside of there, the energy that you're trying to cultivate in there. And that can actually be better to do with a smaller group. If you don't have any audience at all, you can really tap into places like your family, your friends, your just personal network. Those are most likely going to be your founding members. But like I said, visibility still matters. And if you are planning on going all in on your membership, you have to make sure visibility is one of those core focus points for you. Again, if nobody knows about it, nobody's going to sign up for it. Visibility is the oxygen to your membership. Now, the one thing I wouldn't do is if this is something that she's really wanting to start, and maybe she does have a little bit of an audience, but it's not a massive audience, don't let that be the thing that really holds her back. That first year of your membership, there's so much editing and rearranging and tweaking and making better and adding things and taking things out that honestly, I always just tell people, get that first year out of the way. Like put it out there messy, but have these foundational things in place, right? You don't want to be wasting your time for a year, but also don't hold yourself back thinking that there's going to be a more perfect time. And for you or anyone listening who's in this spot, inside $1 Million Memberships Club, we do have a section where we teach you how to sell a membership months before it's even ready, to founding members, through pre-sales, through waitlists, all of the things. We give you the exact layout so that you can do that the right way. And then by the time your membership is actually ready, you've already made sales, you've already got people excited, people already know about your membership, and it's done in a really strategic way that makes your first launch just go really smooth. And if you guys are listening to this in real time, we are officially in our spring enrollment for $1 Million Memberships Club. So doors have been opened back up. If you've been waiting to get inside $1 Million Memberships Club, this is your chance. Our spring enrollment bonuses end on April 9th, and we have a big one that's actually ending on March 31st. So pause this, go to the link in the show notes, sign up for your membership if you have been waiting. If you didn't know it was open and you're like, oh shit, go do it right now before you forget, because again, we have a really big bonus that is ending on March 31st. Okay, question number 2. I know I need to be selling my membership more consistently, but I have no idea where to start. What does a real sales strategy actually look like? So first things first, when it comes to selling a membership, your messaging has to be so on point. For the majority of you listening to this, you're not doing sales calls or applications or anything like that with your membership. Some of you who have a more mid-ticket to high-ticket membership definitely might be, but for the majority of you, you guys are just selling through things like sales pages, email lists, content, that sort of thing. So messaging, first and foremost, needs to be so on point. And I'm going to tell you exactly what in your messaging specifically. So the first thing is they need to actually connect with the person that you are talking to. They need to be able to really relate to who you're saying this membership is for. They need to see themselves in the problem first. So you need to highlight the main problems your members are going through. And just like I said in the other example, this is not vague. This is not broad. This is something where people are like, oh shit, that is me. I can feel myself in that. For example, you're not just saying if you're low energy and drained, because that's so broad. What does that mean? You have to actually paint the picture of what that thing looks like. So you need to really understand what it is that your clients or your members are struggling with. And then you need to dig one step deeper. So in that example, it's not just going to be you have low energy. Maybe it's you're so sick of feeling like shit by the end of the day, and then you journal and tell yourself that you're going to do better. The next day, you're going to get up, you're actually going to go to the gym, you're going to eat a healthy breakfast, and another day rolls around and you snooze your alarm yet again. You rush out of bed, you skip breakfast, and the cycle repeats itself. So you're really getting actually clear of, okay, low energy is one thing, but what does that actually look like? So that's the first thing. The second thing is you need to then also paint the picture of what it is that they are trying to achieve. So in this example, this person is obviously sick of being low energy. They want high energy, but they might not even know that they want high energy. They just might know that they want to feel better. And that's how you have to explain it to them. So instead of saying your life is going to get exceptionally better being inside of this membership, you need to paint the picture. So maybe it's you go to bed at a decent time and you actually fall asleep because your body is finally synced up with a healthy cycle. You set your alarm early, but half the time you actually wake up before your alarm because you're so energized and you're so excited to start the day that you basically jump out of bed and get right into your routine. It doesn't feel hard. It doesn't feel resistant because it's a routine that you have finally, after so many years of not being able to find a routine, you found something that works for you. That is very specific. That is like actually painting a picture. But you can see how you want to more so visually paint a picture for someone rather than just saying your life is going to be better. Now that you have really gotten clear on the problem and you've painted that picture, and then you've really gotten clear on the transformation, what your membership helps people with, and you've really painted that picture, the third thing is you have to now connect the dots. This is really important. If your member sees your result, your transformation, the thing that your membership is promising, but then it feels so out of reach for them that they, even though they want it, they don't know if that's actually possible for them. Your job is to make sure that they know that that is possible for them. And the way you do that is you pinpoint exactly where in your membership they are going to be able to get that result. Every single result that you have from your membership should obviously tie back to your membership. You should be able to describe how being in their membership specifically is going to get them each result. So you need to you have to basically build that bridge, and the bridge is your membership to each result that you are promising. Here is where the selling part, the strategic selling part comes into place. If you are trying to do this all through email and social media, yeah, you might get some sales here and there, but it's probably going to feel pretty unpredictable, or it could just be a little bit underwhelming. The thing with social media and trying to sell on social media all the time is it is just such a fast-paced platform that half the content that you put out, people are going to miss, or they're going to love it and have like these great intentions of doing something about it, going to work with you. But then the next reel or the next TikTok is already in front of their face and they're on to the next thing. It is so hard to stay focused on those apps. And so knowing that, you have to make sure that you are taking your people, your hottest leads, your warmest leads off of social media and into some sort of world of your own. This is something inside $1 Million Memberships Club we call incubator events. Taking your leads, your cold leads, your hot leads, and you are putting them in an incubator, warming them up until they are hot and they are ready to go inside of your membership. This is going to be how you actually strategically sell your membership, is by nailing your messaging, and then bringing people off of a platform, giving them even more value so that they trust you. They can be communicated to the entire process that we talked about before with the result and the transformation and the messaging and all of that. And then you have some urgency to get them in the doors right then. Basically you're giving them an incentive to join now rather than later. It's actually very simple, but most people just won't follow these through because it does take time, or people just feel like they're not doing it right, or the audience just isn't there, which if any of this is you, we solve all of this inside $1 Million Memberships Club. And actually, if you join right now, April 1st, we are starting our 30-day membership growth challenge, where if you already have a membership, you can map out your entire next strategic sales event right there with us on the 30 days so that you know that you're doing it right. You have the feedback, you have the support, and you have that buzz and the energy and momentum from everyone else in the community doing it as well. And if you're new, or maybe you just ran a sales event, you can also use this to pre-plan your next one and make sure that it is the best sales event that you have ever run in your entire life. Again, $1 Million Memberships Club is open for spring enrollment, and trust me, you want to be in this challenge. The link for $1 Million Memberships Club is down below, or if you were listening to this on podcast, it is in the show notes. Okay, next question is a DM that I got on Instagram, which says, I use the community called School and they have a free option. I'm tempted to offer this to get more potential clients. I am able to ask questions before they join, so not anyone can join willy-nilly. Love that. I also want to keep my community to people I work closely with. I'm trying to think outside the box and what might help me and my community, and my current community isn't that chatty right now. Thoughts, please. So I love this question. I actually don't know if I've covered this. I don't remember. But if I haven't, dang, because this is actually something I get asked a lot. And I actually have a lot of members inside $1 Million Memberships Club who use this approach as well, who have a free community. And honestly, it's basically the same thing as if you were to use a podcast or YouTube or whatever else as like a bigger platform, like I'm doing right here. Biggest thing, if you are going to do a free community and a paid community, is there needs to be a very clear distinction of free and paid. It can be very tempting to put so much into your free community and be in there all the time and show up live in there all the time and do all these things because you want people to see the value of your membership and you want them to upgrade their membership. But the thing is if you are putting so much into your free community, how much more are you going to have to put into your membership in order to have a very clear value gap? Now, this is not to say you can't put value inside of your community. You just need to be really strategic about it. And you have to have your boundaries with it, obviously. Since it's free and people can come in freely, obviously you also are going to want to have some sort of moderation happening inside of your community, whether that is you to begin with or you have a community manager in there. When people are coming into a free community, a big worry is that some weirdos are going to come in and kill the vibe or make it feel like an unsafe place. And so a huge thing that you need to make sure that you do is you have guidelines of exactly the rules of the community. And if these rules are broken, that is how you get kicked out of the community. So you want to make sure that that is very, very clear when people join and that you just have someone moderating it to make sure it stays a safe community if it's free and it's something that just anyone can join. Now, the biggest mistake though that I see people make when they have a free community is they gather a free community, just like you are saying here, with the hopes that this is going to show people the value of being inside of a community of yours and hopefully go into your paid. But then something I see a lot of people do is they get the community, they put effort into it, they show up live in there, they do engagement posts in there and all of the things, but then they don't actually have a strategy to get people into the paid. They're just kind of hoping this will be enough. And unfortunately, it's almost never that way. So you really need to treat your free community as more of a tool and a strategy. And you need to put the offer out there with that strategy. It's not just every day, hey, join my paid community. It's strategically, when you are getting people into your free community, when you are promoting your free community and getting people inside of there. And then you also know when you are taking that new wave of people who got in there, how long they're going to stay in there before you do a strategic sales event to get them into your paid. So there needs to be an actual sales plan in place. When I say sales plan, when you sales plan for the year or the quarter or whatever, that sales plan actually determines all of your other plans. It determines when you need to do a visibility push. So in this case, when you need to get people signed in to your free community, because you're then going to have to be telling people about your free community as well, right? So when are you going to do that? When are you going to do things inside of your membership to make sure that that's always being nurtured and updated and all of the things? So when you plan sales events, it actually shows you when you need to do all of these other things. So 100%, you can definitely have free communities. I love free communities. You just have to be strategic about it and make sure that you're treating that as still an audience and you are doing strategic sales events to get those people over into your paid. Now, again, we have our challenge coming up inside $1 Million Memberships Club. It would literally be the perfect challenge for you because inside of this challenge, we're mapping out exactly this. We're determining where your people are. Are they on a podcast, YouTube, free community, Instagram, TikTok? Where are your people? And what is the sales plan that we are going to put in place so that you can always consistently, repeatedly get them into your paid offer? We're getting really in depth into the actual strategies you can choose from. We're giving you all of the strategies, plus obviously the how to do it, templates, that kind of thing. We're going to talk about sales strategies that you can do to kind of cushion your biggest ones so that you always are selling your membership, even behind the scenes sometimes. And like I said, everything that you do inside of your membership, every single focus point you do, whether it's visibility, sales, nurturing your community, all of the focus points dates for everything you're ever going to do really do stem from when you're going to be doing sales events. So this is going to be an absolutely incredible challenge for you, for anyone listening. Really encourage you to get in for this. Next question is, how many members do I actually need to make a membership business profitable? So first things first with this is it all depends on obviously how much you are pricing your membership. Are you going for a very low ticket membership, something under $100 a month? Are you looking at doing something like a mid ticket, maybe around $200 to $500 a month? Or are you going to go with the high ticket membership model, something over $1,000 a month? Low ticket to like a lower mid ticket is something that is going to take longer to be profitable. But as you continue to nurture it, continue to scale, continue to build throughout the years, that is something that can just be so profitable in a way where you are making extremely high income and really not having to do too much because it's very hands off. Whereas if you are going to be going with a higher ticket membership, if you're doing a high ticket membership, it's because there's going to be high support in there, whether that is from yourself or whether you are paying a team to do that support. Obviously, this is something that can be a lot faster to grow, but then it's looking at making sure that you are able to keep up that level of support. So that's just kind of a side tangent there. But when we get into this basic business economics, we're looking at what is your profit, what are your expenses every month, and what is your take home. The nice thing about a membership business, especially an online membership business, is it's pretty low startup cost compared to a lot of other business models. I mean, at the start, your platform is usually going to be your highest expense. Something like Kajabi, which is what we use, that can run you around $2,000 to $4,000, give or take, a little bit more, a little bit less every year, which honestly is like pennies compared to a lot of other businesses and their startup costs. And then there's just other little costs that you have to take in mind. So like now AI, all the different AIs that you can get, Canva, website subscriptions, email subscriptions, contractors as you grow. If you're just starting out, you can be really scrappy and then hire as you go. But really, you need to know how much is your membership going to be. Is it low ticket, mid ticket, high ticket? And what are those essential expenses that you need to be able to run your business? We need to look into things like taxes and all of that kind of shit, but I'm not going to get into that here. Then from there, you can really look at your take home. So I kind of have a feeling this question is more so geared towards like what actually goes into running a membership. I'm not quite sure, but I'm guessing because I feel like you would know how to calculate how many members you need based on like the goal that you want. So I'm just going to take a wild guess and assume. So some basic minimal costs. I made a little list here. Number one, your membership platform. Kajabi, School, Money Networks, whatever you're going to choose. Again, roughly that's $200 a month to $2,000 to $4,000, give or take a year. Email marketing tool, if it's not included in your platform, personally, that's why I like Kajabi is because they have everything all in one. Basic AI tool, Manus, Claude, ChatGPT, domain and website hosting, $30 to $50 a year. Now, as you start to scale, that's when you're obviously going to start getting a little bit more advanced costs. This could be a video editing software or a contractor editor, a virtual assistant or a community manager, paid ads as you really start to scale. As you start to bring on team, maybe you start to upgrade from your free subscriptions from your project management tools like Asana or Notion, and you do paid to work better with your team. Payroll tools, Zoom, and they all kind of add up. But honestly, when you are first starting your membership, try and get a platform that is all in one so that you don't have a million subscriptions that you're paying for. Understand what you personally need to make after all of your expenses, taxes, everything, and then that becomes your baseline member goal to start. Very minimal, bare minimum. At the end of the day, membership communities can be one of the most profitable online business models you ever do. And depending on the support, it can be one of the most freeing business models that you have. When you build a membership and you do it the right way and you really aim to build a world, to build a legacy, to build something that people can truly grow in and want to stay in long term. This is something that truly will build you generational wealth. And I know it's so cliche to say like build this life that you love, but it is so true for memberships. Anyways, thank you guys for sending in your questions. I love getting questions from you. I love to see what you're working on. I love to see where your sticky points are. And obviously it helps me create content on the channel and podcast that you actually need. As we wrap it up here, I want to remind you that we are open for our spring enrollment inside $1 Million Memberships Club, which means we have insane bonuses, including a absolutely insane bonus for our annual memberships. And the price for that is going to be going up March 31st. And then all of the bonuses go away April 9th. So if you are serious about growing your membership this year, highly encourage you to come join us inside $1 Million Memberships Club. And again, we are starting our April sales and membership growth challenge on April 1st. And that is going to be an incredible one. So I hope to see you there, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye.